so let's talk about Jay Gatsby. You've probably heard the name, right? This guy throws the most insane parties you can possibly imagine right on Long Island. But here's the thing. He's a total ghost at his own bash. The rumors are just wild. Some people swear he killed a man, others are convinced he was a German spy. So what's the real story? Well, that's what we're here to do. Let's pull back that curtain and try to figure out one of the biggest mysteries in literature. Okay, so I want you to just picture this for a second. We're talking every single weekend. Gatsby's place just explodes into this massive public party. I mean, music is literally pouring out of the windows, cars are jammed up for miles, and hundreds of people, most of whom he doesn't even know, just show up. They're drawn in like moths to a flame, just floating through this incredible, glittering fantasy world he's created. And the excess? Oh, it's on another level. I mean, it is just staggering. We're talking a full orchestra playing all night, bars stocked with basically any liquor you could ever dream of, buffet tables that are literally groaning under the weight of all this food. You see, this isn't just some get-together. No way. This is a full-blown performance. It's an assault on the senses, and it's all designed to make sure everyone in New York is talking about it. But here's the crazy part. In the middle of all this incredible chaos, where's the host, right? The guy's practically invisible. And you've got to hear the rumors his own guests are spreading about him. They're completely nuts, and they don't even make sense together. One person says, oh, he killed a man. The next says, no, he was a German spy. He's related to the Kaiser. And then someone else will just whisper that he's a good guy who doesn't want any trouble. It's like Gatsby himself is just a blank slate, and everyone is projecting their own wild fantasies onto him. So that brings us to the central question, the one that drives this entire book. Who is the real Jay Gatsby? All of this, the spectacle, the mystery, the rumors, it all comes back to this one guy. And to get to the bottom of it, we have to look at it through the eyes of the one person who actually got a peek behind the curtain. All right, so to solve this whole Gatsby puzzle, we're going to need a guide. And that guide is Nick Carraway. He's this young guy from the Midwest, and as luck would have it, he moves into a little house right next door to Gatsby's giant mansion. He's basically our eyes and ears in this wild new world. And the key to understanding Nick, really, is this piece of advice his father gave him. He was told to try and reserve judgment, to remember not everyone has had the same advantages. And he really takes that to heart. He listens more than he talks. And because of that, people, and, especially Gatsby, they end up telling him things. His quiet, observant personality makes him the absolute perfect narrator to piece together this mystery for us. Okay, so to really get Gatsby, you first have to get the world he's trying to conquer. It's kind of like a social battlefield, and it all boils down to the geography of these two little peninsulas on Long Island. They look almost identical, but believe me, they are worlds apart. And here's the breakdown of that social divide. On one side, you've got East Egg. That's the old money. Think inherited fortunes, aristocratic families. They don't have to try. They live in these elegant white palaces. Then you have West Egg. That's where Nick and Gatsby live. This is the new money crowd. They're self-made, they're flashy, and honestly, they're a little desperate to fit in. Their mansions are huge, almost over-the-top imitations of the real thing. And this is so important. It's not just about how much money you have. It's about your class, your family name. And Gatsby, he's on the wrong side of the bay. If you want a poster boy for East Egg, look no further than Tom Buchanan. He's married to Nick's cousin Daisy. He's this big, hulking former football star who's never had to work a day in his life thanks to his family's money. Fitzgerald's description of him is just perfect. He says Tom has a cruel body. And that just says it all, doesn't it? It captures that aggressive arrogance, that feeling of entitlement that comes with old money. And then, of course, there's Tom's wife, Daisy, who is also Nick's cousin. On the surface, she's everything you'd expect. Beautiful, charming, captivating. But underneath, she's incredibly cynical. And this quote, wow, it just reveals so much about the pain she's hiding. She's stuck in this empty, loveless marriage, and she's smart enough to know that in her world, for a woman, it's actually better to be a beautiful little fool than to see things as they really are. It's pretty heartbreaking, actually. So you have the glittering world of the eggs and the bustling energy of New York City. But what's in between them? Well, there's this third place, a really grim, dark place that serves as a constant reminder of where all that luxury actually comes from. It's called the Valley of Ashes, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a desolate industrial wasteland. It is literally the dumping ground for all the city's waste, and it's also, you could say, the moral dumping ground. It's filled with what Fitzgerald calls ash-gray men, people who are just covered in the soot and dust that the rich leave behind. This bleak landscape, this is the hidden cost. This is the reality that the glamorous dream of West and East Egg is built on. And watching over this whole miserable place is this old, decaying billboard. It's for an eye doctor, Dr. T.J. Eckelberg, and all that's left are these giant, fading eyes that just stare out over everything. It's so creepy. It's like they're the eyes of a god who isn't there anymore, just silently watching all the moral decay and the carelessness of the rich as they just speed right through on their way to the next party. Okay, so we've got the setting, we've got the characters. How do we finally crack the mystery of Jay Gatsby? Well, the answer isn't at one of his parties. The truth is buried in the past. It's all in a story that connects these very different worlds. And here it is. The whole story, the whole tragedy, really, just boils down to a few key moments. You have to go back 5 years. Gatsby was just a young, poor army officer, and he fell madly in love with Daisy Fay, the most popular girl in town. But war and money got in the way. He was shipped overseas, and Daisy, well, she couldn't wait. She married the incredibly rich Tom Buchanan instead. And ever since that moment, for 5 long years, Gatsby has had one single, all-consuming goal: win her back. And right there, boom. Suddenly, everything makes sense. The giant mansion, the wild parties, the endless stream of guests. It was never about the party itself. You have to get this. All of it, this entire massively expensive world he created, it was all a show for an audience of one. For Daisy, living right across the bay. And when you break it down like that, you realize how simple, almost childishly simple, his grand plan really was. Step 1, buy a mansion, right across the water from Daisy. Step 2, throw the biggest, loudest parties in all of New York. Step 3, hope that, just by chance, one night she'll wander in. It's this incredibly grand, romantic, and honestly, kind of heartbreakingly naive plan, isn't it? So this all brings us back to something Nick saw on one of his first nights in West Egg. It was the very first time he saw Gatsby, and at the time, it was just weird. But now it has a totally new, powerful meaning. He saw Gatsby standing all alone on his lawn in the dark, stretching his arms out toward the water. Nick says he looked like he was trembling, and when Nick looked out to see what he was reaching for, all he could see was this tiny, single green light, way off in the distance. Back then, it was just a strange, mysterious gesture. But now, we know exactly what he was reaching for, and who. See, that green light is at the end of Daisy's dock, and it becomes the most powerful symbol in the entire book. It's everything he wants but can't have. It represents Daisy, of course, but it's also the past he wants to recapture, the wealth he thinks he needs, and the future he is so desperate to build with her. It's the physical embodiment of what Fitzgerald calls his extraordinary gift for hope. So, in the end, that's who Jay Gatsby is. He's a man running on nothing but a single, incredibly powerful dream. He literally built an entire world out of his own hope. But the big question the book leaves us with is this. As he's standing there, reaching across the dark water for that green light, in a world that's filled with careless people, that's defined by the harsh lines of social class, can hope alone ever really be enough?